Hakimi and the Wife saga. Tonight, on the Man's Voice podcast, we are asking, who is the biggest loser? And before you jump and say the wife or Hakimi himself, I warn you to stop. No, the biggest loser is not going to be the wife. Well, all over the social media, TikTok included, everybody's saying because the wife is going to pay some money to Hakimi, she's the loser. It looks like there are many losers in this case. She's just the immediate one that is being discovered. And tonight, on the Man's Voice podcast, I'm going to go into details why there is a bigger loser that none of us is looking at. So welcome to the Man's Voice podcast. Do well to share, subscribe, and comment on both Facebook and YouTube because we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So there's been a lot of mixed feelings. The women on one side, some of the women on one side, bashing men who are jubilating. And some women actually also bashing Hakimi's ex-wife to be. Whilst majority of the men are jubilating. And you saw the video that I played where people are using DJ Khaled's most famous meme of "You are smart, you are intelligent, you the best." And a whole lot. There are voices on social media, TikTok suggesting the wife getting so angry and cursing the man Hakimi. Well, as a professional, I have to give a caveat before I play that voice to tell you that I cannot vouch for the authenticity of that video or the voice in particular to say that that is the voice of Hakimi's ex-wife. Well, it really sounds like an angry woman who is showing what Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about, the female violence. You understand? Yes? So, and I'll play some a voice also from Hakimi himself telling men what to do. Plus, we're going to also look at other players who did it before, especially African players. And then the question will also be tonight, why are African leaders, African football players, some of the people who are trying to protect themselves this way? What is the dynamic? The lack of incentives that Andrew Tate talked about before he went to jail or prison. Why? Why is it so? So let's look at something here. In 2014, Djibril Cissé was the first player who also used the same method our brother Hakimi just used 2014. Before his contract in the EPL will come to an end, his English wife decided to go to court to divorce him in the hope of getting some money from Djibril Cissé. And to her astonishment, she realized that the husband doesn't have anything in his name. Rather, he has everything in his siblings, his brothers and sisters' name. Therefore, the wife totally lost. So Those of us who think that Hakimi is some genius on breaking the female code, that is not the case. Somebody has done it before. And he's an African footballer as well. And then we'll look at somebody who also was not lucky, who was also an African footballer who totally lost his fortunes to the wife. That's a boy on your screen right there. Yeah, so tonight we are going to go into it and look at the bigger loser in all of this. Instead of looking at the immediate reaction that people are talking about, that, oh, people don't know that the wife is going to lose money because he has to pay alimony and other things to Hakimi. Yes, that is a case, but the bigger issue, the biggest loser, and there will be many losers, none of the losers is Hakimi himself or the wife. The bigger loser is there. And what will cause that bigger loser is what Andrew Tate, the top G, spoke about in a video before he was arrested. He and his brother were arrested and jailed. Now they are released. They are out in what is called house arrest. Yes. They are under house arrest in their Romanian home. Yes, so once again, let me say a welcome to those of us who enjoy the Men's Voice podcast on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, do share. If you're on YouTube, do same. Now, let's look at some memes that have been going around. And seriously, right now in the world, it looks like every day, whenever something happens, the first reaction is about jokes. We joke about so many things. So when you go onto the internet, it's all about memes, laughing. It to understand it is, but is that the main case? Well, let's listen to a voice purporting to be the voice of Hakimi's wife, getting angry and cursing him and said that he will send him to hell. Oh, sorry. This one is the wife saying that the husband Hakimi played chess and she played checkers, meaning that she was not smart. And at the end of the interview, she said, oh, she will look for a new victim. Wow. She played checkers. That's what it says. Chess. He played chess while I played checkers. Even this jewelry I wear is not on his name. His mom wrote the bank checks, so I get nothing because I played checkers. So what is your next move? I'll have a new victim. That is the definition of lack of remorse. Yes. She said she'll have a new victim. Well, let's see how that goes. If she can actually find a new victim. Well, in Ghana, we have a saying that every day a stupid man comes to market. So it may be she may get a victim to play on again. Yes. You know, men and women there, when something like this happens, don't be too happy that, oh, this is the code. Men have cracked the code. Nobody is going to fall a victim to some of this thing again. I'm afraid it is the issue of the matter of the heart. It can happen again. But in as much as I'm happy men are rising up to the occasion, I'm also looking at how soon can men rebuild this society that is destroyed by feminism. Yes, on this show, I will not get tired mentioning feminism because all of this crap is happening because of feminism. Yes. If you do understand, you can ask to be in the studio to challenge me on that. Okay? So we've listened to the wife showing no remorse, saying that he's going to get a new victim to play on. So let's listen to Hakimi himself addressing a section of the media. This is an important message for all my fellow men. You need to protect your assets. Protect yourself from this shit in life. Think ahead. To continue to work hard and list your asset in countries like Morocco. I continue this technique in Morocco because I am Moroccan. I also defiled risk by putting part of my asset on my mother's name. Don't give a shit if they call you a boy, a big mommy boy. I will keep doing this and protect it all. Okay, so Hakimi has also come to give explanation why he did that, and also say that people can also protect their assets in Morocco because the laws really work there. Maybe before this week go to an end, I'll speak to a lawyer in Ghana to find out if something like this can happen under our laws, and then also see if we can get some examples right there. So let's listen to a voice purporting to be the voice of the ex-wife getting so annoyed and furious and cursing out.
I hope that you choke on a piece of concrete and literally go to hell. I will see you in fucking hell, you fucking asshole, you fucking liar, you fucking manipulator, you goddamn witch. You would have played your cards right.
Okay, so there's goddamn witch and all of that in there. So we've listened to the reaction, the angry voices. We've listened to the memes, you are smart and all of that. What Hakim himself is also telling fellow men around the world, especially athletics, footballers and all of that. Now, I told you that if you look at it, the topic, we are asking who is or who are the biggest losers. And I've told you, forget about the wife. Yes, the wife is going to pay money, all things being equal. But is the wife really the victim, the final loser? That is what we are looking at. And to me, the answer is not the wife. Not the wife. Already in the West, The issue of marriage, divorce, child custody, child support, alimony, and all of that is the biggest issue that a group of men around the world, especially in America, who have vowed never and ever to get married. Because of what the court system in America has done to them. Yes, one day we'll have a video to look at that, the court system, how it works in countries like US. Now, the biggest loser in a case like this is all of us, the society, humanity. Because the moment the polarity between men and women is getting wider, the moment the polarity between men and women is getting wider, it is a society that is breaking down. But at the end of the video, I will give you a hint or a message of hope. Even though we should, as a human society, human beings should prepare for things ahead, things to come. And the things to come is that it's not going to be nicer anytime soon. It's going to get a bit worse, especially in the Western countries. But today I've had conversation with couple of people in Ghana who are asking me if I have any idea if this kind of laws exist in Ghana, which is why we'll be talking to a marriage lawyer this week on the Men's Voice podcast to find out. Because if my viewers and followers are asking for that, I need to deliver. You understand? So, Andrew Tate talked about the lack of incentive. Okay? Andrew Tate talked about the lack of incentives for men to marry, especially in the West. So if you're watching us from America and you are not a Ghanaian, you are not an African, but when I say African, not an African born on the continent, but maybe an African American who has also not lived in the continent, and a white person or whatever, get to know that, wow, quite a number of people who are, majority of married men in Ghana, in Africa, don't have too much of that fear that the West have. But even sometimes, even with our laws that is kind of equal for both men and women, sometimes women pull a surprise one on us here in Ghana. So let's listen to what Andrew Tate said, which will let you know the biggest loser, and I'll come back to explain.
I think the reason it's not happening today is that I don't think many men actually benefit from marriages or relationships anymore. And people are always going to have to require some degree of incentive. I think that we've set up the world now in a way where men are seen as worker droids. They're expected to go work all day, come home, clean up as well, share the cleaning with the woman, no meal prepared for them, not have any authority over the household, and just be a worker droid and be a sad. And I don't think that many people understand that men are intrinsically wired to desire respect amongst our peers and in our environments. This is why CEOs work so hard, because they get respect in their company. This is why we all want so much money and fast cars and status and influence, because we're respected. Men desire respect like we desire oxygen.
Okay, so Andrew Tate even went further than just talking about the incentives. And when he says there's a lack of incentives for men to get married, it goes beyond respect, especially in the West. If you get married and you did not take legal counsel before you got married, the possibility of losing your property to your wife, losing the children to your wife, and paying alimony to your wife, paying child support to the children at 18 is so high. And 80% of the time, it is women who initiate their divorce. So in the West, in Europe and America, the incentives for men to get married is actually dying. I can say it is dead. You understand? And now, this brother of ours has pulled a fast one. And for me, as a lover of philosophy, I think that we as human beings need to be smart to solve this issue, because now I'm not sure men are going to back down. Men are going to continue to let women know that, look, you people have ruled us, played us for a long time. And it's not like we can't strike, but men are providers, protectors. So for a long time, men were seeing that women will come to their senses and maybe regret and do the needful. But that's not the case. It looks like every day woman has married an enterprise to go and get rich. Well, enough of the blame. As men, we taking responsibility and being accountable is our hallmark. So let's come to ourselves. I think that apart from a place where the system is designed to protect 90% women, sometimes when a brother fall a victim like this to a woman, gold digger, we can sympathize with them. But even so, absent now, if you are a man, a rich man, a high-value man, and you cannot identify people who are just around you for your money, that one, I don't think you need too much of a sympathy. You may have to learn the hard way. You understand? And as I said, the biggest loser in this Hakimi and the wife case is going to be the society. Because right now, if men decide this is what they're going to do, a lot of women are going to say that, then I'm not getting into a relationship, I'm not getting married. Well, so what is going to happen? Are men going to sit on the fence and women going to sit on the other side? No, I am not sure. Definitely still men and women will be in relationships. And my problem, which I call the biggest loser in this case for the future, is how are children going to come into this world? Are men and women going to now go to court and sign a contract that I want to be with you from this time to this time, and after that we can go our separate ways? Or what? Is prenup going to be the order of the day, where before you get married as a man or a woman, you go to court, you let your partner sign a document stating that when there's divorce, she or he does not have anything out of your properties or your estate, which some people do. But is it going to be the order of the day? What is now going to be the female-male relationships going to be like? How animalistic is it going to be? This and many questions that are going through my mind. And I think that if care is not taken, definitely the bigger society is going to suffer for that. And already the society is suffering, especially the Western society is suffering. And I don't blame anyone but feminism. And the women that bought into it, thinking that when they become feminists, manna will fall from heaven unto them. And when they go into it, they don't see that it's not easy. Now they devise means. People they claim they are independent of. They are the same people they try to get rich and live their so-called independent life out of. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest loser is not the wife. It is the bigger society. It is the bigger society. Because in the West, especially the Western nations, the UK, the America, the Canada, the Australia, and those places, feminism has done a successful job by making politicians make laws almost 90% or 99% in their favor, and it's not incentivizing men that much. Or is it going to be something that I'm hearing that America is about to pass a law where right after birth the child needs to there's a need for DNA test to be done on the child to prevent parental fraud or paternity fraud. And I've seen a lot of American women, young women in particular, crying here and there that they cannot accept that. What do you think? Let me hear you in the comment section.